Right now, somewhere in America, a young family is shopping for a new car. They're not looking for luxury, not a giant SUV, not a 500 horsepower pickup. They just want something simple and affordable. Then they discover the Slate truck, America's newest budget vehicle. It strips away luxury, removes unnecessary features, and promises to bring simplicity back to the auto industry. Yet it still starts at around $25,000. For nearly the same money, buyers in China can choose from several larger electric cars. Some cost less than half that price. So what happened? Did America forget how to build cheap cars? Or did something far bigger change the economics of the entire industry? People believe America forgot how to build affordable cars. At first, that sounds completely believable. Walk into almost any dealership today, and finding a brand new vehicle under $20,000 feels almost impossible. The few remaining budget models continue getting more expensive every year, while pickup trucks and SUVs dominate the showroom floor. It's easy to assume American automakers simply stopped caring about inexpensive transportation, that companies abandoned ordinary families in pursuit of bigger profits. The Slate truck seems to support that idea. If America's newest budget vehicle still costs around $25,000, maybe affordable cars really are gone. But history tells a very different story. For most of the 20th century, America wasn't known for building expensive vehicles. It was known for making transportation affordable. Henry Ford's moving assembly line transformed the automobile from a luxury item into something millions of families could actually own. That idea shaped the entire American auto industry. Years later came cars like the Ford Escort, Chevrolet Cavalier, Ford Focus, Chevrolet Cobalt, and eventually the Honda Fit, Toyota Yaris, and Chevrolet Spark. None of them were exciting. None were designed to impress the neighbors. They existed for one reason: to give ordinary people reliable transportation at a price they could afford. For decades, buying your first brand new car wasn't an impossible dream. It was an expected milestone of adulthood. America didn't just build affordable cars, it built an economy around them. Now compare that America with today's market. The Chevrolet Spark is gone, the Ford Fiesta is gone, the Honda Fit has disappeared from the American market, the Toyota Yaris is gone too. Meanwhile, the average price of a new vehicle in the United States has climbed to levels that would have seemed unbelievable a generation ago. Suddenly, a truck costing $25,000 is being described as affordable, not because it's cheap, but because almost everything else has become even more expensive. That isn't just a pricing problem. It's a complete redefinition of what Americans now consider an entry-level vehicle. Imagine a young couple expecting their first child. They've saved for months, carefully planned their budget, and finally decide it's time to replace their aging car. They don't need luxury. They don't need off-road capability. They simply want dependable transportation they can afford. At the dealership, they naturally walk toward the smallest, simplest vehicle on the lot. Then they see the price. Instead of asking about horsepower or battery range, they ask something much simpler. When did affordable become $25,000? It's a question millions of Americans are quietly asking. That's why the Slate truck is far more important than it first appears. It isn't exposing the failure of one startup. It's exposing the disappearance of an entire market. America didn't lose the ability to build inexpensive vehicles. Somewhere along the way, it stopped building them. At first, this looks like the story of one small pickup. Then the picture becomes much larger. The Slate truck leads to the disappearance of the Spark. The Spark leads to the death of the affordable compact car. Soon, we're no longer talking about one company. We're talking about Detroit, about American manufacturing, about an industry that once put the world on wheels. The real mystery isn't why the slate truck costs $25,000. The real mystery is why America no longer builds the kinds of cars that once made $10,000 transportation possible. 1.7. New mystery. Most people think they already know the answer. Modern cars have more technology, more screens, more electronics, more features. So naturally, they cost more. It sounds perfectly logical. But what if the expensive part of a modern car isn't what you can see at all? Because once you look beneath the dashboard, the real story begins. Small cars should naturally be cheap because they use fewer materials. It's one of those ideas that feels impossible to argue with. A smaller car uses less steel, less aluminum, smaller tires, smaller seats, often a smaller battery. So common sense tells us it should cost dramatically less than a pickup truck or an SUV. That's why so many Americans look at the slate truck and think, if this is already stripped down to the basics, why does it still cost $25,000? The answer is surprisingly simple, because the size of a car no longer determines most of its cost. Think about building a house. Removing one bedroom certainly saves money, but it doesn't eliminate the architect. It doesn't eliminate the building permit. It doesn't eliminate the electrical system, plumbing, foundation, inspections, or insurance. Many of the biggest costs barely change. Modern cars work exactly the same way. Whether it's a compact hatchback or a full-size SUV, manufacturers still spend years designing the platform. They still build production tooling, they still develop software, they still perform crash testing, they still validate safety systems, they still provide warranties. Even a simple vehicle like the slate truck has to pass many of the same engineering and safety requirements as vehicles costing twice as much. The body gets smaller, the engineering doesn't. Here's the part that surprises most people. The dashboard isn't the expensive part. The touchscreen isn't the expensive part. Even the paint often isn't the expensive part. The real money is spent long before customers ever walk into a dealership. Thousands of engineers, years of development, prototype testing, factory equipment, robotic assembly lines, safety certification, software validation. Every one of those costs must eventually be recovered, not from millions of invisible accounting entries, but from every vehicle sold. That's why removing a few visible features rarely cuts the price by thousands of dollars. Most of the bill was never visible in the first place. Imagine you're the lead safety engineer on a new compact car. Your boss gives you one goal: make it cheaper. You simplify the interior. You reduce the number of options. You redesign the dashboard. But then reality sets in. You still need airbags. You still need a reinforced passenger cell. You still need electronic stability control. You still need cameras, sensors, and crash structures that meet modern safety standards. No customer wants to hear that a car became cheaper because it became less safe. So every engineer faces the same challenge: build the smallest car possible without compromising the standards people expect. That challenge costs money, no matter how small the vehicle is. This completely changes the story. Americans aren't paying $25,000 because automakers are obsessed with luxury. They're paying because every modern car carries enormous fixed costs before a single wheel ever touches the road. The vehicle may look simple. The industrial machine behind it is anything but. Now the mystery has grown beyond the slate truck. We're no longer talking about one pickup. We're talking about engineering teams, testing facilities, software developers, factories, suppliers, entire manufacturing systems that exist long before the customer sees the finished product. Suddenly, the price tag starts making sense. But another question becomes impossible to ignore. If American manufacturers all face these hidden costs, how are Chinese companies building brand new electric cars for $10,000 or $12,000? Most people have an answer ready, because labor is cheaper in China. It sounds reasonable. It's also one of the biggest misconceptions in today's automotive industry. Because China's biggest advantage isn't cheaper workers. It's a completely different way of building cars. China builds cheaper cars because labor is cheaper. For years, that explanation sounded completely reasonable. Whenever Americans saw a product made in China selling for less, the answer always seemed obvious. Lower wages, lower production costs. Case closed. But today's auto industry looks nothing like it did 20 years ago. Walk inside one of BYD's newest factories and you'll notice something unexpected. Robotic arms weld body panels with incredible precision. Automated vehicles quietly move parts across the factory floor. Artificial intelligence checks quality before many workers ever touch the car. If cheap labor were still China's biggest advantage, countries with even lower wages would now dominate the global EV market. They don't. Which means the biggest advantage isn't cheaper workers, it's a completely different manufacturing system. Imagine trying to cook dinner while every ingredient comes from a different state. The vegetables arrive on time. The meat is delayed. The rice is stuck on a truck hundreds of miles away. Dinner can't begin until everything finally arrives. Building a modern car works the same way. A single vehicle depends on thousands of components arriving at exactly the right time. Battery cells, electric motors, power electronics, semiconductors, glass, seats, wiring harnesses, cooling systems. If just one critical part is late, an entire assembly line can slow down or stop completely. Now imagine a different system. The battery factory is only a few miles away. The motor supplier is across the street. The electronics company is in the next industrial park. Some suppliers even belong to the same corporate group. Instead of crossing oceans, parts travel across town. Instead of waiting days, factories wait hours. That's exactly how much of China's EV ecosystem was designed. Take BYD as an example. Most people know it as a car company, but BYD builds far more than cars. It manufactures batteries, develops electric motors, produces many of its own electronic components, writes vehicle software, and operates inside one of the world's largest EV supply ecosystems. That changes the economics completely. A battery designed for one model can be shared across several others. The same electric motor powers multiple vehicles. Software improvements benefit an entire lineup instead of a single car. Now multiply those savings across hundreds of thousands or even millions of vehicles. Every engineering improvement becomes cheaper. Every production line becomes more efficient. Every vehicle becomes less expensive to build. China didn't reduce costs one car at a time. It reduced them one ecosystem at a time. Imagine two factory managers arriving at work on Monday morning. One works in Michigan. The other works in Shenzhen. The American manager begins checking shipping schedules. Have the battery packs arrived? Will the semiconductors clear customs? Is every supplier still on schedule? The manager in Shenzhen starts his day differently. Production can begin almost immediately. Many suppliers are nearby. Some are part of the same industrial network. Instead of solving logistics problems, his team spends more time building cars. Both factories have talented engineers. Both use advanced automation. But one spends far more time moving parts. The other spends far more time making vehicles. This is where one of the biggest myths about China's auto industry falls apart. China didn't simply build cheaper cars. It banked a cheaper way to build cars. The vehicle is only the final product. The real advantage comes from everything surrounding it: factories, battery companies, suppliers, software, logistics. Every piece strengthens the next. Remember the slate truck? At the beginning of this story, it looked like it was competing against other affordable vehicles. Now the competition looks completely different. This isn't Slate versus BYD. It isn't Ford versus Geely. It's one industrial ecosystem competing against another. America optimized for profitable trucks and SUVs. China optimized for manufacturing scale, supplier integration, and battery production. The real competition was never happening inside the showroom. It was happening years earlier, inside factories, industrial parks, and supply chains. If American automakers understand exactly how China lowered costs, why don't they simply copy the same strategy? The answer isn't engineering. America already has world-class engineers. It isn't technology. America already builds some of the world's most advanced vehicles. The biggest obstacle is something much harder to change: an entire business model that no longer depends on cheap cars to survive. If Ford or General Motors wanted to build a cheap car, they could do it tomorrow. Technically, they probably could. The engineers know how. The factories are capable. The technology already exists. After all, these are the same companies that design everything from compact sedans to heavy-duty trucks and electric supercars. So why doesn't Ford build a brand new $15,000 commuter car? Why doesn't General Motors bring back something like the Chevrolet Spark? The answer isn't hiding inside an engineering department. It's hiding inside a boardroom. Because building an inexpensive car and building a profitable one are no longer the same thing. Imagine you're sitting in Ford's product planning meeting. On one side of the table, engineers present a proposal for a new compact commuter car. Simple, efficient, affordable. On the other side, another team presents a new mid-size SUV built on an existing platform. It shares parts with other vehicles already in production. Customers are willing to pay much more for it. Dealers make more money selling it. The company earns significantly higher profit on every unit. Now, ask yourself one question. If both vehicles require years of engineering and billions of dollars in investment, which project is the company more likely to approve? The decision isn't emotional, it's mathematical. Every dollar invested has to generate a return. And for decades, America's highest returns haven't come from compact cars. They've come from trucks and SUVs. That's exactly why America's best-selling vehicle isn't a compact car. It's the Ford F-Series. Year after year, full-size pickups dominate sales because they're among the most profitable vehicles on the market. The same pattern appears across the industry. General Motors invests heavily in Silverado and Tahoe. Toyota earns strong margins from the Tacoma and Tundra. SUVs and pickups don't just sell well. They finance future factories, research programs, and electric vehicle development. When one truck can generate thousands of dollars more profit than an economy car, companies don't need many meetings to decide where the next investment goes. The market quietly makes that decision for them. Imagine you're a Ford executive presenting next year's investment plan. An engineer asks, "Why don't we build another affordable compact car?" You don't question the engineering. You ask a different question. If we spend $2 billion developing this vehicle, how long before we earn that money back? The room becomes quiet because everyone already knows the answer. Customers often ask, "Can Ford build it?" Executives ask, "Should Ford build it?" Those are two completely different conversations. This is where the entire mystery finally comes together. America didn't stop building cheap cars because it forgot how. It stopped because the market gradually rewarded something else: Consumers bought larger vehicles, dealers earned more selling them, manufacturers invested more heavily in them. Investors expected those profits to continue. Over time, affordable cars didn't disappear because anyone planned it. They disappeared because every economic incentive pointed in another direction. Now think back to the Slate truck. At first, it looked like a startup trying to challenge Detroit. Now it looks more like an experiment, a company asking a question the rest of the industry stopped asking years ago. How inexpensive can a brand new American vehicle actually become? After removing luxury, after simplifying production, after eliminating unnecessary complexity, the answer still comes back to roughly $25,000. And that number says far more about America's automotive industry than it does about Slate itself. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question from the very beginning. Instead of asking, why can't America build a cheap car? Maybe the better question is, can America's auto industry still afford to build one? The Slate truck will bring affordable cars back to America. Perhaps, but that's probably expecting too much from one company. Slate doesn't have to become America's next Ford to change the industry. It has already changed the conversation. For the first time in years, millions of people are asking a question that had quietly disappeared. What happened to the affordable American car? The answer isn't one company. It isn't one law. It isn't one bad decision. It's the result of decades of gradual change. Hidden engineering costs grew. Safety standards became more demanding. Supply chains became more complex. Consumers shifted toward SUVs. Manufacturers followed demand. Investors rewarded higher margins. Individually, every decision made sense. Together, they completely transformed the market. Perhaps the most surprising number in this story isn't $25,000, it's $10,000, because that number no longer feels realistic in America. Yet, around the world, it has become the benchmark by which affordable cars are judged. That's why the Slate truck shocked so many people. Not because it was expensive, but because it revealed how dramatically expectations had changed. Remember the young family we met at the beginning? They thought they were shopping for a new car. In reality, they were looking at the result of 30 years of economic decisions. They weren't comparing a Slate truck with a Chinese EV. They were comparing two completely different industrial systems. And suddenly, the price made a lot more sense. America didn't lose the ability to build cheap cars. It built an automotive economy where cheap cars no longer make financial sense. That's why the Chevrolet Spark disappeared. That's why the Ford Fiesta disappeared. That's why the Slate truck still costs around $25,000. The affordable American car didn't die because engineers failed. It disappeared because the entire industry evolved toward larger vehicles, higher margins, and greater profits. Slate isn't the solution, it's the mirror. Narrative echo. At the beginning of this story, the Slate truck looked like America's cheapest new vehicle. Now, it looks like something else. A reminder of what the American auto industry used to build, and a reflection of what it has become. Sometimes the most important vehicle isn't the one that sells the most. It's the one that forces people to ask questions they stopped asking years ago. One day, people may not remember the Slate truck because it transformed the automotive industry. They may remember it because it exposed one uncomfortable truth. America never forgot how to build affordable cars. It simply became much better at building expensive ones. And until the economics of the industry change, the affordable American car may remain something people remember far more often than something they can actually buy.